World economy stands on the cusp of another crash, warns Lord Mervyn King. Former Bank of England Governor Lord Mervyn King has warned that the world is on the cusp of another crash because regulators have failed in their attempts to reform the financial system in the wake of the last crisis. They haven't failed in their attempt to reform the financial system. There simply hasn't been an attempt to reform the financial system. The banks, since 2008, have been carrying on regardless, gambling, knowing that they are safe in the knowledge that governments will bail out any debts if they lose. Back to the article. Another crisis is certain, and the failure to tackle the disequilibrium in the world economy makes it likely that it will come sooner rather than later, Lord King says in his new book, the exclusive serialization of which starts in the Telegraph this weekend. Since the last crisis, governments and regulators have been hyperactive at the national and international level, but bankers and regulators have colluded in a self-defeating spiral of complexity, he claims. Translated as, they are doing all they can to make sure they can do as they please by making the system, allegedly, too complicated to reform. And even if they get caught, no one goes to jail. Oh, apart from some low-level Forex trader. Not sure this Forex trader brought down the whole entire system in 2008, did he? How long have conspiracy theorists been saying that another financial collapse is going to happen? No? Well, I will tell you. Since the last collapse. And now not a day goes by without someone in the mainstream media saying that a collapse is just around the corner. It seems real, doesn't it, when the mainstream media say it, but when somebody tells you years ago that this is going to happen, and it happens as they tell you, you don't believe them. You just throw mud and say, conspiracy theorist. In case you didn't know it, our system is completely broken. Totally and utterly shattered to a trillion pieces. Bankers who destroyed the economy in 2008 have been paid, get this, over 100 billion in bonuses since 2008, and they've been carrying on regardless, creating more debt, creating more derivatives, storing up more problems for the future. 100 billion in bonuses. Just imagine what we could do as a country with 100 billion. Instead, we allow the poor to continue to get hammered, to become homeless and to starve, whilst we reward already rich bankers with lavish bonuses for catastrophic failure. It just has to come to an end at some point. It's not austerity we've been under, it's a bloody robbery. Taking money from the poor and giving it to David Cameron's rich banker friends. No wonder the majority of the Tory party funding comes from bankers in the city. We're not going to get the change we require from within the system. Tories, Labour, even UKIP, none of these parties will deliver the reforms we desperately need. We need real change in this country. I'm thinking about starting a new political party. I'm going to call it something like the We've Just Had Enough Party. No huge companies avoiding tax, no sweetheart deals with big corporations, no banker bailouts, Iceland all the way for the bankers, no career politicians who've never done a proper day's work in their lives, the arrest of treasonous politicians, funds to help small business, things like that. Who's with me? What happens when the next collapse happens and the bankers get bailed out again with hundreds of billions and yet more austerity is forced on you and I? What happens when 2 million people are using food banks? 3 million, 4 million, 10 million? We all know that the bankers will continue to get billions in bonus regardless of what happens because the Tories love a banker. Are you happy with that? What about the steel industry? We can't do anything about that because of being in the EU. We can't put tariffs on Chinese steel. We can't demand UK building projects use UK steel only because of the EU. Also, the steel industry, this is the most important bit, doesn't line the Conservative MPs' pockets with money like the banks do. That's why the government will do anything the banks want them to do. Remember the Royal Bank of Scotland last year? The government, i.e. we, owned 73% of that company, and for the trading year of 2014, they lost £3.5 billion, taking their total losses since 2008 to over £50 billion. But still they managed to pay those talented bankers that lost all that money £421 million in bonuses. Last year, Royal Bank of Scotland only lost £2 billion, bringing their loss since 2008 to over £52 billion. But I bet you RBS, and remember that we still own 73% of that company, I bet you they still pay their bankers hundreds of millions in bonuses. And all because we're told the banking talent that's managed to lose £52 billion in 8 years straight has to be rewarded, otherwise they'll go elsewhere. Why do we allow them to get away with this shite? We are the major shareholders of this bank. Why? We should be smashing down the doors to our MPs about stuff like this. How dare they mock us? How bloody dare they? Honestly, I wonder sometimes if there is anything we as a people in the UK simply will not put up with. How much are we going to take? Where's your line in the sand? Where is your red line? Where's our dignity? They're laughing at us. When will you feel the need to do something about having your head stamped into the ground time and time again, whilst the people doing it are simply laughing at you? The very banks that caused the 2008 collapse have lined us up for another collapse, one that will make 2008 look like a picnic in the park. How much more can they push us? When the next collapse happens, the government will pray for us to riot. They will want us to smash things up because this will give them the perfect excuse to round on us and further their police state agenda. We can't riot. We can't smash things up. We need to be smarter than that. Non-compliance is what is needed. Block banks. Put rubbish in their doorways like they did in Portugal. Sit in the bank and refuse to move. Stop using corporations that aren't paying their fair share of tax. Would life really be that much worse if you didn't have your pretentious Starbucks coffee to take into the office every day? Whatever you do, do not riot. Think. Make sure the people around you know who is to blame when the shit hits the fan again, because these are the people we need to let know that we know it was them. Everything's coming to a head, people. Let's just make sure we're bloody ready.